Hi, it's Mary Bartos for the Bartos Group of Premier Plus Realty, and it is Monday, May 11th. So the question is what's happening in housing in Southwest Florida as it relates to this situation that we're in, what's happening, what's going on. So we've been being educated for quite some time now from Keeping Current Matters, some of our favorite folks. Steve Harney is one of my favorite analysts. I just wanted to show you a couple of slides that he has presented to us that might be interesting to you. So I am going to pull these slides up. So bear with me just one second as I share my screen, and off away we will go, or maybe not. There we go. There we go. So as I mentioned, I'm Mary Bartos with the Bartos Group of Premier Plus Realty, and this is what's happening in housing in Southwest Florida, here, Naples, Rock Island, Estero, Fort Myers, and to mention Bonita and Bonita Springs. So as we go through this, really it's interesting to see what the analysts are saying. What are they saying about the market right now? Well, you've all seen this graph before that we've put up about what's happening in the gross domestic product. And really, quite honestly, we now have the first quarter numbers in. It was down, we were going really like gangbusters. And then in March, when the market hit a hiccup, well, that happened where we went down about 4.8%. Obviously, as we're going down into quarter two, they're talking about more continued down. But then there are all these top four analysts, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and Wells Fargo, are all talking about a nice recovery. Interesting enough, we were on a call with an analyst from a different company, and she was saying that, it's hard to get into these letters because it's going to be very industry specific. Like, for example, the cruise line may not recover in the same kind of fashion as some of as the rest of the nation is, but it's interesting to know that in general, we're going to have a really good rate. And by fourth quarter, we should be back above zero, which is great. Now, what does that mean to you as an owner of homes? Well, someone that's going to buy your home is going to either be a first-time home buyer or they're going to have a home that they have to sell. And interesting enough, this percentage is a breakdown of percentage of homeowner equity. So as you can see in this big chart over here, 42.1% of owners own 100% of their home outright. We have another 16.6% that quite honestly owns over 60%. And then the rest. So that in general shows us that we have a very healthy home ownership where we have money in our current homes that we can take to leverage into a new home, which is fabulous. It also means that we won't go into foreclosure because average are sitting on this tremendous equity. The average equity in a home of the mortgaged homes is over $177,000. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to walk away from $177,000, which is what happened earlier in 2000 when we went through the housing crisis. Something else that's really interesting right now is with interest rates being so low, and quite honestly, I remember buying my first house at 12 to 13% interest rates. So to see these today rates of 3.23%, now I'm not saying that everyone's going to get this interest rate. It depends on your credit. I'm not a loan officer, but if you can see just by 0.8%-ish, you can save over 30 years on a $200,000 mortgage, $31,000. So, to me, that's an interesting fact, and the fact that, that's just on a $200,000. Now, what does that look like when we go to a $400,000 mortgage? That $400,000 is, let's see if I have that slide, looks like I don't, is also even greater than that. So what's happening in our area? One of the things that I look at when I'm looking at housing is how are showings going? Showing time is where we schedule many of our showings in the US. And they put out this report by state. Here's Florida's. And as you can see, we hit the bottom somewhere in early April. And the showings have started to come up, which is fabulous. They've almost, in Florida, started to get above where we were in 2019. We have a very small gap right now. That is fabulous for you, for anyone selling a home, because we went really quiet for quite some time. And now our showings are starting to pick up. We're seeing that at the Bartos group as well. Similarly, our pendings by week. You can see around April 7th, we kind of hit the bottom and we jumped up. These are looking backwards 7 days. So these are pendings by week in our MLS. And you can see they've really jumped up from where they were at the bottom. And we just see that trend continuing as we go on. This is great news. I know in our team, we were about half what we would normally do. In April, we would have normally put pending about 30 families, buyers and sellers. We did 14. So, you know, it's not zero. So you can see this both in our area and our own statistics. Now, this was an interesting thought. This was through April 30th. And it's really hard to see. I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well, but this is telling you that prices under 250,000 in our market had the most traction. They had a great percentage of what was happening in our market. Then you look at 250 to 500. Now, historically, we've been in that 500 to a million. So we're seeing the market pick up at the lower ends right now, at least in April. And this was through the end of April. Our higher end properties above 7 million haven't really produced. We do have listings there, but as you can see, as price comes down, we are having fewer that are going pending. Similarly, this is how many we have active. We have a lot more active in that 200 to 500,000 price point than we do in the 250,000. So that tells me that there's more demand for that lower price point than there is today. This was looking backward in April. So that's kind of what you really kind of have to think through. All that really, each day it's changing. I tell you that because literally the market to me woke up over the weekend. It was quite amazing with the number of calls, the people that are hitting our site, the people that are coming in through Zillow, which, speaking of Zillow, one of the interesting things we found out this week, and I don't have it written for you today, but 71% of buyers their activity has picked up in smaller cities and rural areas. It's increased by 71%. That's fabulous. You know, I think it's going to be a great opportunity as this shakes out, because each day is different and we need a little more data to know exactly what's going to happen. But I'll tell you that our folks hitting us on Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, our own website, on social media like this has really increased. So what are we doing? Well, we're still selling homes in a virtual world, and quite honestly, not much has changed for us. What has changed a little bit is the fact that we're doing more marketing in the virtual world, where people can go to a landing page, click on our 3D walkthrough, or Facebook Lives and webinars to really do virtual home open houses and virtual home tours. This is where we've kind of changed, but quite honestly, we've always done electronic signatures in Florida. We've always done personal virtual tours in the face of FaceTime, Zoom. We've been doing that for years because a lot of our buyers come from a second home area. So it's something that we're doing. We're also very cognizant of people making sure that we get folks in and that the home is safe, both for the buyer and the seller, that there isn't any COVID-19 in the home, that the people coming in don't have COVID-19. We actually have a new disclosure, making sure that people are seeing that, making sure people aren't touching things if the homeowner is in the home. And then quite honestly, inspections are the same, earnest money is the same. We've been doing, wire transfers on our earnest money for quite some time. Inspections are still gonna need somebody to go in there. And then the new thing with closings is that if you're not in town and you don't want to go out of your home, there actually is a mobile closing that they have a mobile notary coming out. So congratulations, you've sold your home in a virtual world. Like I said, we're doing virtual tours. We have people doing FaceTimes. We have them walking through the property, all sorts of things in order to sell properties. And quite honestly, it's working. So as we wrap up, people ask me, Mary, is it time to sell? How's the market? What's happening? I really can't answer that question for you. But what I can say is in the virtual home shopping cart, we all know Amazon, but that's out in Zillow and Realtor.com and Trulia and Google, etc. When the market wakes up, and it is waking up today, you want your home to be in that market. You want your home to be in there. So my friends, again, I don't know if it's your time or not. If you have questions, you'd like to have me look at your home, give you an analysis of what's going on. If it's a good time for you to sell, I welcome the opportunity. Again, you can call me. I'm Mary Bartos at the Bartos Group of Premier Plus Realty. My number is 239-588-0230. Information will be below, so look for it there if you have any questions. So until we do the next housing update on our team, we say ciao for now, or we hope to help you find your piece of paradise or sell your piece of paradise here in Southwest Florida.